The year was 1996, and two really important things happened. Number one, I was born. And number two, Dolly the sheep was the first cloned mammal. Oh, and also Pokemon Red and Blue were released in the United States.
Japan.
Along with the games came a whole new world of creatures, battles, and of course, core game mechanics. One of those mechanics was the TM, an item that lets you teach your Pokemon a move they wouldn't normally learn. And the very first TM players ever received in Pokemon history was TM34, Bide. Given to you by this funny man. At first glance, or at least against Brock's Onix when you were a kid, a move where your Pokemon takes hits for 2 turns, then deals back twice the damage they took sounds, interesting. As long as that damage isn't from a status effect, or leech seed, or weather, or multi-turn moves like Wrap or Fire Spin. Also, it can be cancelled if you're frozen, asleep, paralyzed. Wait, is Bide bad?
No, Bide must not be bad. Bide, non-believers are bad. Bide good. Bide, certainly a move.
Bide is often considered one of the worst moves in the game. So much so that Game Freak quietly removed it starting in Generation 8. So some of you may have never even heard of it. But here's the thing. I've always found it weird that the first TM ever given to players was Bide. Why give us something so bad? Surely there must be a hidden genius to it, and I wanted to prove that. Back in February 2024, chat gave me an idea. Make a hack of Pokemon Leaf Green where you can only use Bide, and I did, and I took on the challenge. No overleveling, no healing in battle, no legendaries, just Bide. Let's see if I can make this work. Oh, and before we jump in, I make weird garbage like this all the time. You shit your pants. So if you liked the video, leaving a like or subscribing would help me out a ton. First, I needed to write the code, and I went with a Game Shark. It lets me tweak the game's RAM directly. And after digging through a Game Boy Advance code guide, I found the 8-bit constant write. Perfect for constantly applying a single byte, like move IDs, to a RAM address. I couldn't touch the Pokemon's actual moves without decrypting their data, or I'd make a bad egg and ruin my game. But then I hit gold. A document by JPan on Poke Community listing RAM locations for battle values. These control temporary move changes during battles, like with Mimic or Transform. So I used the offsets for in-battle moves, set everything to Bide, and it worked. Oh, look at that! I only have Bide! That's weird! I also linked a document I made in the description with Game Shark codes for Fire Red and Leaf Green and all move IDs. So if you wanted to try something like this, to go for it. Bide is a gamble. It hits hard, but only if you take a big hit first. I'm gonna die. I don't live this unless it doesn't attack me. I die. If your opponent just spams Growl or Leer, nothing. Poison or burn damage doesn't count. Ghost types, immune. You're basically flopping around like a stupid, stinky, ugly fish most of the time. So we need a tank, something that can take hits and hit back even harder. Sorry Charmander fans, but that's the least optimal pick. Instead, I went with Squirtle. Squirtle is going to be my starter for this run.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Only because it can take more hits than Venusaur, and its HP is barely worse. It's like one stat point, or not one stat point, one base stat point worse. While Venusaur technically has more HP by like 1 point, Blastoise has the best defense stats of the trio. More defense means surviving longer and dealing more damage with Bide. Plus, Water only has 2 weaknesses compared to Grass and Poison's 5, so there's less chance of getting KO'd before we can even counterattack. I named my Squirtle after Paladin, a Twitch streamer attempting my realistic run hack like a goddamned maniac. And we actually beat the rival battle pretty easily, only using Bide. If tackle misses, we lose. That one lands. No crits, please. Actually, a crit wouldn't be the worst thing. No, we're gonna lose! Fuck, why did it miss tackle? Actually, I think our Squirtle does have pretty damn good IVs, TBH. I think we might win this. If it lands tackle twice here, I think we win. We win! Paladin's the GOAT!
Maybe Bide could.
This run quickly started to remind me of when I played through Leaf Green, but all my Pokemon were permanently frozen. So I grabbed a bunch of Pokemon to fight Brock and grinded in Viridian Forest for a couple hours. Similar to the Frozen run, grinding was extremely slow and painful. But unlike the Frozen run, I beat Brock on my first try, using his own signature move from Red and Blue. No! On a Metapod. With Brock out of the way, it was finally time to strategize. Like I mentioned, HP and defense were the MVPs of this run, so the best Pokemon aren't Mewtwo, Aerodactyl, or Dragonite. Our all-stars were Vaporeon, Clefable, and Wigglytuff, Pokemon with solid defensive stats, which felt so wrong. I caught a Jigglypuff, Clefairy, Geodude, Nidoran, But Nidoran had a secret weapon. Its ability, Poison Point. It was perfect for dealing damage while we were stuck storing energy with Bide, or for those Aki's moments when an opponent outplayed us by doing absolutely nothing. You still sane doing this challenge? I'll be fine. I'll be fine. It's fine. You can encore me all you want. Just double slap once. Just double slap once. Just cry. I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna scream. Just, it's okay. You can encore me. Just okay. Well, at this point, everything's going smooth. But what you might not have noticed is that I made a massive mistake. Like a catastrophic game-ruining mistake. And it happened within a few minutes of starting. I picked Squirtle. Now, I already explained why I thought this was a good idea, so you might be wondering why I'm suddenly backtracking. Well, here's the problem. In Pokemon Leaf Green, if you pick Squirtle, your rival KK picks Bulbasaur. That sounds fine, until you remember what Bulbasaur learns. Sleep Powder, Poison Powder, Stun Spore, Leech Seed, Synthesis. It's like Bulbasaur was specifically designed to make Bide useless. And I don't know if the AI was just completely brain-dead stupid, or maybe even galaxy brain levels of genius, but it never wanted to use Vine Whip. Instead, it spammed status moves non-stop, turning every fight into a miserable slow-motion disaster, where my only options were, I don't know, just sit there or fucking die. Wake up! Oh, the Metapods were useless. This Bulbasaur is incredible. It's crazy. It's a fucking Sleep Powder. It's not supposed to hit that much, man! You shouldn't be hitting 100% of your Sleep Powders! Okay, wait. Hold it. No, it's hitting 100%. It hits 100% of the time. I lost 8 times to the rival in Cerulean City. And at this point, chat was starting to wonder if this fight was even possible. But wait, what's that? Enter Butterfree. Alright, let's see if Butterfree is worth it. I mean, its stats are like a little better defensively against like Vine Whip, but I don't know if that's a good thing. Oh! 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 Don't use Sleep Powder! Oh! 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 Oh my God! We did it! We weren't stuck! Now, did Butterfree actually do anything useful? Probably not. Maybe it was good luck. Maybe the AI had mercy. Either way, we barely scraped by with barely any strategy to win, which felt real bad. And then to celebrate, I threw myself at Team Rocket on Nugget Bridge 15 times on purpose, because if the game was going to make me suffer, I was at least going to farm some damned nuggets out of it. Bulbasaur wasn't the only problem in this run, though. Any Pokemon with a similar moveset was basically a death sentence. Let's take this one trainer, for example, this guy right here. He's got a Butterfree that only knows status moves. I avoided him like the plague. This thing has to have confusion, right? Does this not have confusion? Am I going to white out to this because I can't hit it? Oh my God, does this thing have an attack? Okay, it doesn't have a custom moveset, which scares me. Which means it knows its 4 last moves. It knows super... Oh my God, it doesn't have an attack. But my next real problem? Of course, the rival again. This time on the SSN. And I got absolutely bodied 4 fucking times in a row. I rotated between Nidoqueen and Drowsy, hoping to stall out Poison Powder and Sleep Powder. Did it struggle? I think it struggled. And shockingly, it actually worked. Let's go! Thank God. I thought I was in the clear. At least for a little while. I could finally relax until the next rival fight. But I didn't consider something even worse. Campers and picnickers. And right away, I ran into this trainer with 2 Oddishes and 2 Bellsprouts. That's 4 Pokemon in a row, back to back to back to back, that spam status moves. Look, this is why Wigglytuff is good. It didn't take much damage to deliver that much back. This should have... I think it should have Poison Powder, Sleep Powder, Wrap, and Growth. This might be the worst thing to fight right now. This is not going well. This thing is like the ultimate thorn in our side. This Pokemon. Oddish! Wait, Oddish doesn't have any moves. And it can't poison us. We can still win this. We're paralyzed? Come on, Scottage. You gotta use an attack. You gotta use Bide. It's the only thing you can do. You gotta use Bide! Okay, it got hit by recoil. We lose. We cannot win this. This is not winnable. My team was not built for this level of annoying behavior. They just didn't have the bulk to survive that much pee-pee stalling, so I had to get a little creative. I went all the way back to Viridian Forest and purposely let a Pikachu paralyze half my team. That way, they couldn't get poisoned or put to sleep. It was basically like choosing the least horrible of the three evils. And I swear, this one random trainer who's completely trivial in a normal playthrough took me over an hour just to complete the battle with the game sped up. Then came the Venonat. Every time I tried to use bide, it would confuse me and cancel it every single time. And don't hit your... Don't hit yourself. Then I got stuck on a picnicker in Rock Tunnel, and then another one. And at this point, I really started to question all of my life choices. After what felt like an eternity, I finally made it through this gauntlet of trainers. And what was my reward? Oh, that's right, another rival fight. Of course, this time in Pokemon Tower. You piece of shit, it stalled me out. That went horribly. That could not have gone less optimally. How do we adjust? Fortunately, this one wasn't as bad. Since Ivysaur had 2 attacking moves instead of just 1, I had at least a better chance of working. It took a couple tries, but compared to everything else, I'll take it. So far, I've seen way more status moves than any sane person should, so I decided to put Erica on hold for a little while. She can wait a bit. Instead, I picked up Vaporeon and Snorlax and went on a hunt for bulky Pokemon in the Safari Zone, specifically my prized jewel, Chansey, the thickest mon I could get. Now, usually, I have pretty decent luck catching Chansey, but for whatever reason, this run was just cursed, man. First try? First Pokemon, first try? I don't know. God. Chansey? We are having really bad luck with this Chansey. It's watching. Maybe it'll work. Oh. It took me 2 hours.
Please be the Chansey. I hate you. I want to pick you up and grab you by your skeleton hair and rip them out of your head.
Like bike hand.
Chansey. Chansey. Chansey.
Ball. This is a frame. I said silence!
Why would I beat it with a rock?
Why would I beat it with a rock?
Okay, fine.
Shh.
Complete
Silence. Shh. Shh. I said silence! No! Yes! Yes! Then, finally, things started getting easier. Last few gyms, no problem. The rival on Route 22, easy enough. I'm used to it. But right when I was starting to feel confident, that's when the reality of the situation had set in. This was all warm-up. The real challenge was just beginning. It was time for the Elite Four, and there were 2 huge problems. First, I needed a team that could hold up defensively against 5 completely different trainers, which by itself sucks. Second, Agatha. specifically her ghost types. And if you're ahead of me here, you may already know where this is going, because in Gen 3, bide doesn't affect ghost types, which meant Gengar was not only completely untouchable, but also immune to Poison Point. One of the few things that I had in my back pocket to chip it down. I had to make a pretty weird team. I ended up with Vaporeon, Muck, Slowbro, Marowak, Magmar, and Snorlax. Vaporeon and Snorlax were just solid all-around choices, you know, great HP, strong defenses. Muck and Slowbro filled a similar role, but had a little bit of different resistances that they could cover. But Magmar, well, I guess that one made a little sense. I used it in my permanent freeze run, and Flame Body was pretty useful there, so sure. But Marowak? Why Marowak? Well, turns out a Cubone we picked up randomly in Pokemon Tower is holding a Thick Club, which doubles Marowak's attack stack. And with a bit of what I like to call move deletion magic, I could enter the Elite Four with 0 PP left, forcing Marowak to use Struggle, the absence of Bide. This was officially our first offensive Pokemon in the entire run, and honestly, I had no idea if it was actually going to work or even be useful. Lorelei was kinda tough, but at this point, I was used to it. You take hits, use Bide, you hope, you pray. It took 2 attempts, and we got through. Whatever. It's out of Ice Punch. That's big. I'd like it to be out of Lovely Kisses, too. If it's out of Lovely Kisses, we can win. It's out of Lovely Kisses. We can win. 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 We switch to you. We switch to you. The only thing you can do is double slap. Let's go! That sucked. That battle sucked. That fucking sucked. Let's go. Bruno, pretty much the same strategy. 1 attempt. Princess needs to live, though. Princess needs to survive this. Live this. We win. 1 try. Bruno sucks. Let's go. Agatha, however, was a nightmare. Her first Gengar was a problem because it only had Shadow Punch and Toxic for damage, which meant I had to play around both. The plan? Swap between Snorlax, Slowbro, and Magmar. Bait Shadow Punch into Magmar, pray for Flame Body to activate, stall out PP, and keep Slowbro safe. Of course, Gengar also had Double Team because this fight wasn't painful enough, but after way too many failed attempts, I finally managed to get the burn. Good. Gengar goes down, and we have a Magmar alive. The rest of her team was a whole other headache. Muck could tank most hits and heal with leftovers, but the AI, for some reason, liked to swap in Haunter for no damned reason. And great heavens, that was awful. Haunter had Mean Look and Curse, which meant it could trap my Pokemon and slowly chip them down. And since none of my team besides Marowak could actually hit it, that could go south pretty fast. I had to make a perfect read. I switched Marowak in first, hoping Haunter would use Curse, and it did. Then I immediately switched to Slowbro, which was already poisoned, meaning Haunter had to keep spamming Curse instead of Hypnosis. And well, it killed itself. It can't use Hypnosis. It might have to curse itself to death here. Let's go. Let's go. We're not Mean Looked anymore either. That left her second Gengar. It had Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb, which meant no contact moves, no chance to trigger Flame Body. I had no choice but to stall out Shadow Ball with Snorlax and hope Muck could eat every single Sludge Bomb until Gengar's only move left was Nightmare. And once that actually happened, I sent in Marowak to finally finish the job with Struggle. Oh, that took so much brain power. That battle took an hour. Lance was all about luck. And for once, I actually got it. So now I can't be burned. So you just go down. Wait, it still worked? Wait a minute. Hang on. We might have a win here. We might be able to get a win here. On the first try, Flame Body triggered on Dragonite at a crucial moment. I should have probably switched into Joe Broski, but I'm just a little nervous. I'm a little nervy. I'd like it to be confused if I can. Live? Oh, it didn't do enough. Don't have a heal. And in a last-second miracle, the burn finished it off. Just barely. We win. Let's go. That was the first try. And it started bad. Oh, finally, after biding my time for so long, only one battle remained, the champion. And even back at that brutal fight with KK in Cerulean City, I knew this was gonna hurt. Pidgeot was mostly a non-issue, except for Sand Attack, which could screw up everything real quickly. This should kill. That's 1 down, 5 to go. Alakazam was terrifying. If I wasn't careful, it could sweep my whole team. It's an idiot! It's dumb! Rhydon was just as bad. It hits like a damned truck. Wait! Gyarados was a toss-up because if it used the wrong move I was anticipating, Bide wouldn't be enough to take it down. I think this is the right play, especially with the chance of confusion. I need it to hit me, I think, though. At least once. Not with that. Okay, don't flinch. Dead. Okay. An Arcanine could burn me, chipping away at HP. No goes down to Vaporeon. No crits. But then there was also Venusaur, the scariest Pokemon in the entire run. Just like in my permanent freeze challenge. It could sit there all big-like and whatnot, spam growth, and wait until it was strong enough to one-shot my entire team with Solar Beam. So I had to approach this fight kind of like a puzzle, with a whole lot of RNG thrown in. And attempt after attempt, I kept losing. Chat begged me to level up, catch a legendary bird, or just give up, but I refused. I was committed to beating this cursed game. And then, on attempt number 35, after 2.5 hours of suffering, I led with Marowak, chipping away at Pidgeot while keeping Snorlax healthy. The goal was to weaken Pidgeot just enough, low enough to avoid a full restore, but still in range for bide to KO after taking an aerial ace. And even after a very scary sand attack, Snorlax KO'd Pidgeot while maintaining most of its HP. Next up, Alakazam. I switched to Magmar, who was mostly useless in this fight, but if I got lucky, Alakazam might go for Reflector Future Sight instead of blasting me in the big old cheeks on Magmar's forehead immediately, and it did. Magmar could barely survive 2 Psychics if they were low rolls, and somehow it did. That meant Bide one-shot Alakazam. Huge. Then came Rhydon. There was absolutely no world Magmar was going to survive that, so I just sacked it to bring Snorlax back in. Snorlax needed to be just healthy enough to survive 2 Earthquakes, praying neither was a high roll or a crit, and it held on and one-shot Rhydon. The next Pokemon wasn't guaranteed. KK sent in Gyarados. At this point, Snorlax wasn't useful anymore, so I sacked it. But not just to get something fresh in, to also scout Gyarados' move choice. And it locked into Thrash, meaning I knew it was coming. That was Slowbro's cue, because with its high physical bulk, Slowbro could survive Thrash and a few bites, as long as it didn't flinch 3 times in a row. And thankfully it didn't. Gyarados went down. Next up, Arcanine. Slowbro dies, but I knew Vaporeon could always beat Arcanine, even if it took a crit. So that left one Pokemon. The final challenge, Venusaur. My team was barely holding together, but I had kept Muck in my back pocket this whole time for this exact moment. If I switch and it uses Solar Beam, I have to bide. It's going to get 2 growths in or growth and Sunny Day. If it's growth and Sunny Day, it's an awkward spot. If it's growth, we're in a good spot. I think we switch to Muck. It went for Solar Beam. We have to bide. Slow down, Chris. Slow down. Growth. Don't Sunny Day. If I played this perfectly, I had a shot at winning. Knowing the AI saw the kill on Vaporeon and was going to use Solar Beam, I immediately switched to Muck. And with its leftovers, it could heal back whatever damage it took from this first hit. But now, this is a game of math. I think we bide twice. Sunny Days in. It's all down to this. Don't crit! We got it! We got it! The moment I hit bide, Venusaur would start using growth. I had to track exactly how many times it boosted. If it set up Sunny Day in the middle of that mess, I also needed to count the turns left in the sun. I knew Muck was the only Pokemon on my team that could survive one single +6 Solar Beam, but only if I timed bide perfectly. Solar Beam takes 2 turns without the sun and fires instantly with the sun. If I miscalculated and clicked bide at the wrong moment, Venusaur could fire off a Solar Beam while I was still storing energy, instantly ending the run. And so, after 75 losses and 86 hours of playtime, I finally understood. Game Freak was right to delete Bide from the series. Fuck that move, it's terrible. I never want to see a Grass-type Pokemon again. This run sucked.